You're tuned in to Pen Drop Discussions. We're delivering insightful information through genuine conversations. Never miss a message that's for you.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tyler Parker, and I just want to take a minute to let you guys know what you're tuning into when you tune into Pen Drop Discussions. The purpose of Pen Drop Discussions is to impart information and perspectives from the faith, spiritual, mental health, and physical training communities about the wholeness of healing. And the goal of Pen Drop Discussions is to bridge the gap between mental health, physical health, and spiritual health. The goal of Pen Drop Discussions conversations is to engage in conversation that will either help people find their voice and give people a new voice to listen to. And the overall goal of Pen Drop Discussions, man, is just to spread that unconditional love, viewpoints, and perspectives so that we can become a community of combined intelligence and talents that use that community to fulfill a higher calling.
Hey, it's your boy Simmer the Don, and I'm rocking with Pen Drop Discussions. Okay then.
It's your boy DJ KP, and you now tuned in to Pen Drop Discussion, the most high and the most blessed.
This your girl Tiani. Thank you for tuning in to Pen Drop Discussions.
It's your girl Jayla. You're now tuned in with Pen Drop Discussions, the livest podcast on the East Coast.
This is Timbrel, and you're now tuned in to Pen Drop Discussions podcast.
What's going on? You're now tuned in to Pen Drop Discussions. This is episode number 37, and today the topic is trust the process. And I have the pleasure of bringing you this topic because today we actually did a Pen Drop Discussions conversation with Ryan Renfro and my friend Chris Payton. And, you know, it was a pleasure. Like, it was such a pleasure having them both in the studio today and having them cover the topics that they did because they go hand in hand with Fearless Friday. And literally the title of their movie was called Fear. And, you know, as I'm sitting there listening to them, the interview was like 2 hours long. And, you know, I encourage you guys to go and check that out. And, you know, it's definitely going to be available on the same platforms that Pen Drop Discussions is. Like, you know, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, Spreaker, all of those. And I'm going to share out all of those links. And I just want you guys to check that interview out. That interview was a great interview, as well as the other interviews that are available on Pen Drop Discussions Conversations, which are interviews I did with James Blagg, with Brother Yah. What other interviews did I do? I'm trying to remember all of them right now, like off the top of my head. But they're literally out there on Pen Drop Discussions Conversations. They're available on Apple Podcasts as well. So, I mean, as soon as you type in Pen Drop Discussions, you're going to see all of the, you know, After Dark, the Pen Drop Discussions conversations, and then the non-apologetically politicking. So with today's topic being trust the process, it's going to be a quick little snippet because, you know, it definitely has to be quick because 2 hours long of conversation is a lot of information for you guys to take in one day. And, you know, I don't want to tax you guys. You know, I don't want to beat your brains in with words. So, you know, I'm going to go into a little bit about the process that I have had to trust, and that is being the process with Pen Drop Discussions and also with my career change. And not just career change, but career direction. And that is something that I began talking to you guys about with the other two topics, which were, you know, appreciating the struggle and putting in the work. And, you know, it was like put in the work in yourself and then, you know, you're going to see the results. So the topic today of trusting the process is literally allowing yourself to go through those motions of, you know, understanding that once you put in the work and once you see yourself for who you truly are, that some of the things that you are doing have to come off because you might have negative habits that you have that you know, weren't really paying attention to, because it happens to a lot of us a lot of the times. Like me, I'm terrible with time management. And, you know, I know what my strengths and I know what my weaknesses are, so I know how to address those now. You know, I know that I need discipline in certain areas and I need to be more lenient on myself in certain areas. Like, I'm really good with consistency as far as over a short period of time. Like, I'm very compulsive. You know, I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's knock it out. Let's do all of these in one. Like, literally, Pen Drop Discussions went from 4 episodes in January, between January and March. And then I had 2 over the summer. And now I have up to 37. So, you know, like, you also have these other shows that are available which have multiple episodes on them. So, you know, I'm building multiple platforms, but it's like the consistency is there. The drive is there. The ambition is there. And sometimes I need to be more lenient on myself as far as my ambition, because I need to be able to see certain things through. So I'm like, okay, let me put that on my vision board. And as I was saying in Pin Drop Discussions Conversations last night when I was doing the vision board with Ty, it was like, okay, let me write down my strengths. Let me write down my weaknesses. Let me write down the points of concern that I need to have while I'm addressing my vision. While I'm trying to trust this process, I need to know that, okay, these are some of the signs that I need to watch out for, because I'm good for burning out. I'm good for going extremely hard and burning out like really quickly. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're, thinking about the podcast that we recorded as far as fear. And this is Fearless Friday. So we're, encouraging you to chase your dreams and encouraging you to go after your goals. But also, while we're encouraging you to do that, we're also encouraging you to reflect on yourself, to check yourself, to see what your strengths and what your weaknesses are, to analyze yourself. I'm encouraging you to take a Myers-Briggs test, to go out. And if you're in school, like your school has a career center, more than likely that they can recommend tests that you can take so that you can see the career path that you want to be on, so that you can ultimately line that up. Because a lot of times, a lot of kids don't need to know what career they want to go into, because they already know, from like high school or middle school, like they know the career path that they want to be on. But for those of you who are like me, who were going through high school and was just like, I don't know, I'll find what I'm interested in later. And, I'm like 27 now. So I'm like, okay, well, now I need to, kick it in gear and, try to get my little ducks in a row. And that's cool. That's perfectly fine, because I've experienced things in life that I feel like I wouldn't have allowed myself to do if I was solely focused on, meeting my goals and meeting my career at an early stage in life. Because now I feel like I have experiences and wisdom that a lot of other people don't have. Like I allowed myself the chance to grow into the man that I wanted to be. And I can pass that along to my kids. I can pass that along to you guys at free of charge. Like the lessons might have cost me a little something. They might have cost me a little blemish on my reputation for a short period of time. But I mean, I'm cool with that, because I'm willing to give that back to you so that you don't have a blemish on your record, on your reputation. Because if you know what you're doing and you continue to do what you know that you want to do, and you know why you want to do it, you'll be fine. You really don't have to answer to anybody other than Jesus, God, your mom, your dad, if you choose to do so. Because your parents ultimately do not have a say-so in your career or in your career path, unless you just choose to honor that. And that is ultimately a choice, because if they're giving you a choice that is coming from a place of, trying to live vicariously through you, then obviously that may not be what works for you. Like if your parent honestly has the best intentions for you, and by best intentions, I mean that they sit down and they analyze themselves in order to tell you, like, look, I did this. You don't have to do this, but I made a way for you to do X, Y, and Z. And I would encourage you to do X, Y, and Z. By all means, listen to your parents. Love those parents. Love them, really, because those are the parents that are conscious enough to understand that we are our own individual beings. Like having children is a blessing. Right. And I said having a children is a blessing. Like having a child or children is a blessing. And the reason why I say that is because we are gifts, and we are given gifts from God. Like no parent owns a child. You know what I'm saying? Like you're given a child as a loaner. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, this is God's product. This is God's child. Whatever God chooses to do with this child is God's plan. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily for a parent to say, well, this is your path because I know your path. This is what I know, because that's not written in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And being a spiritual person, somewhat, I feel like being told like, okay, well, look, let's look and see what the word says about this. Let's see what the word says about that. I think it says that God knows your plan, that God knows the plans, and he knows the steps for you. It doesn't say that your parents do. Now, your parents can be given a revelation. Your parents can be given a word. They can give you an idea, you know what I'm saying? They can form it, but ultimately the direction and the path comes from God. So I'm not knocking anybody's parents. I'm definitely not knocking my mom or my dad, because they set me up well. You know what I'm saying? They set me up enough so that I can be this type of man that I know that I'm confident in what I want to do, what I'm doing, and what I will do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very happy with that. And I know I'm saying, you know what I'm saying a lot, because I just want you to relate with what I'm saying. And that's my way of saying that and conveying that energy. And as far as like trust the process, it's trust the process of knowing yourself. Like, it is a grueling process. It is literally the process of getting off everything you thought that you knew about yourself and coming into this realization of everything that you know about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go from thinking that you are one way. You know, you can go from thinking, yeah, I'm organized, I do this well, I do that well. You receive the criticism that says you don't do it well. And then you look at it and then you look back at what you're doing and you're like, okay, maybe I don't do it well. That's what I mean, as far as thinking what you know and then knowing what you know. And that is just something that I'm excited to share with you guys about on this Fearless Friday. I'm excited for you guys to be ready to trust the process. I'm excited for you guys to appreciate the struggle, because as I'm telling you to do it, it is also something that I have to do. So I also have to trust the process, because every step and every level that you matriculate to is another step that you have to start the process over. And you have to realize, like, okay, I graduated from one thing, now I'm going on to the next. And the whole process starts over. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are at square one every time you graduate. Every time God says that you're ready for a new challenge, you have graduated and you have started over. A lot of times we don't want to look at that as a positive thing, because we want to say, you know, well, I was up here. I was at the peak of my game. It's like, yeah, you were at the peak. Now you're at the valley, and now you need to get back up to the next peak. So like I've said before, I love being transparent on this show, because this is my third baby right here. You know, I got Audrey, I got Sam, and Pin Drop Discussions and Intellectual Social Club. So I got a fourth and a fifth child, you know, and I love being transparent on this show, man. I love everything that has come from this show. I love everything that is happening with this show. And I'm going to tell you guys that, you know, I made a verbal commitment on the St. Augustine's like marketing page with DeMarcus. You know, he was filming it and he was like, yeah, you know, well, tell me a little bit about, I was trying to remember what day it was, but it was like some special event going on. And, how was I honoring the legacy of St. Aug or something like that, something along those lines. And I was like, you know, I'm going to be a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to continue on by doing X, Y, and Z. And that is my career path. That's my plan long term. And, you know, a lot of times people tell you not to say things and put that energy out there. And I'm one of those people now, you know, because I'm a firm believer in, I see things like I was like in a process where I was doing well, exceeding, and I was like, okay. And then as soon as I put it out there, as soon as I put that energy out there, it was like, oh, look at this, I'm doing this. As soon as I looked for approval, that's when things started to slow down. So I think that it's not necessarily what you put out there, it's how you put it out there. So if you put yourself out there for approval, for validation, I feel like what you're going to get in return is a slower process. And I feel like because you need to have your own validation. I feel like you need to have your self-worth valued higher than the opinions of other people. And I don't mind that now, you know, but I'm still going to be an advocate of keep it close to the vest. You know what I'm saying? Keep your information close to the vest, or play it close to the chest, however you want to say it. And but still, regardless, trust that process. And today is Fearless Friday again, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please tune in to that Pin Drop Discussions conversation. It's a really good one, man. I love it. You know, continue to watch the episodes on Facebook Live, on YouTube. Please share the videos. We're trying to grow. And as far as the overall plan for next year, I will keep you guys posted, man. I will keep you guys posted. The Christmas party, we're in the midst of planning that. And I'm very excited. I'm just very, very, very excited, man. I thank you guys, seriously. And I just want to end today's show by saying that I am praying for each and every person that is listening to this podcast, that may not know what they want to do with their career or may not know what they want to do with their dreams, but I'm praying that dreams come to you so that you are able to see your dream and your vision clearly, so that you are able to in turn write it down, share it with somebody that you trust, that you love, that is able to encourage you, that is able to go forward and help you find resources, is able to help you find tools to help you get started, and not just get started, but to continue to be consistent, to continue to find ways to be better at your craft, to continue to reach out to people that will continue to encourage you to walk in the way that you are meant to walk, and that is in prosperity and happiness and love and peace and joy, and not in strife, stress, or depression. And I'm just, I'm just asking that we continue to encourage each other, man. That's literally the community that I want to see. That is the Pin Drop community, that we continue to encourage each other and pray for each other, love each other, and lift each other up, because that is what we need. That's what the world needs. That's what our communities needs. Man, that's pretty much it. This is Tyler Parker. It's been Pin Drop Discussions, and I hope you guys that you got something out of today's segment. Peace.